Thank you very much. Well, it's always a pleasure to be here, but I know I'm already going to disappoint some people because the people have come up and said, well, are we going to see any gore slides? And I'm going, wait a minute, I'm talking about tree diversity, you know, we're not talking about first aid, so, you know, if you came here looking for gore this morning, you're pretty much going to be out of luck. Now, we've got some trees that don't look very good, and I'll warn you on those, all right, but otherwise, no, you're safe on this presentation, but, you know, I'm really going to be talking about the need for diversity, and really, what do we want from our trees? Well, first of all, we want them to grow fast. I used to work in garden centers. Everybody comes to a garden center, what's the same thing? You say, well, how fast does it grow? Do you ever want to come to a garden center? I want a tree that grows real slow. No, 50 feet a minute. Of course, when it gets to that 50 feet, then they want to top it because it's too tall. But they want it to grow fast. And they want it to grow anywhere. They don't have to worry about soil. They want it to grow right on here. And they want it to look pretty. I mean, that's what we want in all our urban trees. And that's why we get advertisements like this. Have you seen this one out yet? And those little flyers that come out? Yes, look at that. Super growing, flowering shade tree grows real high in just 1 year. It's an amazing tree. Look at that thing. 30 to 40 feet, grows anywhere. Yeah, it's the Royal Emperor's tree. And the Royal Emperor's tree can be a nice tree. You know, but, and by the way, we have one in South Dakota. And yes, it does grow 8 feet every year. The same 8 feet. Because it dies down to the ground. So you know what? When I take a look at these, what do you want for your trees? Grow fast, grow anywhere, look pretty, pick 2. You know what? We're not going to get everything. And we need to be planting more trees out there, and that's a great idea, but I wish one thing we'd keep in mind is, first of all, water them. Don't plant any more trees than you care for. One of the things that I look through from our grants in South Dakota, when people say, well, we want a grant to plant trees. And you look at the form, and they've got everybody coming out to plant trees. They got the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Lions Club, Kiwanis, you name it. And then we say, who's going to take care of the trees? I was like, well, we're pretty sure the city would. Oh yeah, city employees have nothing else to do. They're just happy to find more trees to take care of. You know, I always tell groups, don't plant as many trees as you can plant as many trees as you can water. And that really cuts the list down quite a bit. And diversity is more than just a lot of trees, or a lot of cultivars, or even a lot of species. Okay, it's more about Genera. And that's really the heart of my talk here this morning is we've got to get Genera out the right way. So here we go. Last comment too. And one last thing to remember, when I moved to Minnesota, I remember this. In South Dakota, I clearly remember this. This is an important point. And that when you live in these states here, and you look at the list of all these cool trees that can do just about everything, the rule is, the nicer the tree, the less chance it has of growing. You all know that. You look at a tree and go, oh man, I wish I could plant that. Oh crap, zone 9. Yeah, we're out of luck. I'd love to grow this. And, you know, look at this. Is that a drop dead, gorgeous Colorado blue tree? I think so. I'm not a big fan of that tree. That looks great. Why? I took that picture of it growing in Colorado. When it's growing here, they look like this. All right, so again, we gotta kind of watch what we plant, where we plant it. So let's go into it a little bit here. You're going to start out with a quiz. All right, quizzes have to start out first thing in the morning. So what do all these trees have in common? And all these trees I grow in South Dakota, we grow cat-sorter trees. Now, the nice thing about living in South Dakota, I get to know all the trees individually, so there is our cat-sorter tree. Know the one, know where it's at. All right, and we can grow this one, and hopefully some of you do as well, hardy rubber tree. You know what? They're nice trees. There's one growing in South Dakota. We can get them up to 30 feet in South Dakota, southern half of it. They're nice trees. And then ginkgo. You all know ginkgo. We grow that just about everywhere, including South Dakota. And then, I know you sound crazy, but one of my favorites, Osage orange. I kind of like that tree. It's kind of an interesting tree. You know, last summer when I was up in Grand Marais, they were selling the fruit. You know, hedge balls, 99 cents, helps keep spiders away. Yes, it's a great spider killer. You take that fruit and hit a spider, you'll kill it. And then we got a few that you really can't grow here. The dove tree, again, that's a drop dead gorgeous tree, so no chance of growing in South Dakota or Minnesota. But what do all those species have in common? They're monotypic. They're the only members of their genus. Tell me all the different species of Osage George, all the different species of ginkgo. There aren't any. And monotypes tend to have few pest problems. I remember that when I was in college. Jonathan Wright, the geneticist, would bring this up. That when we look at these trees, very small ranges, no serious pest problems or they would be extinct, and there's no easy way for pests to jump. They're unique. They're isolated. Well, as a general rule, the more species in a genus, the more problems you're going to see. Look at this list. And again, it's a list I developed, but if you take a look at these. Maples, birch, ash, poplar. Look at all the different species, and then look at all the serious pests they have. Why? Because once you figure out how to attack one, you can figure out how to attack the other and the other within a genus. Right? There's no separation. I mean, look at these things, like this one. How many prunus do we have out there? About 1 billion. Lots of different species. They share a lot of common pests. You know, when I get people calling me and they say, you know what, my Schubert's choke cherry has died. So what's the problem? That's what they do. You know, cherries are like sheep, just looking for a place to die. One day they look good, the next day they're flat out dead. That's what they do. They're not a problem. Well, let's take a look at the mid-group here. We dropped the number of species, and we really dropped the number of serious pests that we got. Black tupelo, which we can barely grow this far north, but we have in South Dakota. Or one of my favorites is yellowwood, a tree we should be using more of. And one reason we don't is it's kind of picky on the site. So darn, we have to know the soils. Wouldn't that a shame? The nice thing with growing ash, you never had to ask about soil conditions, did you? You didn't even care if they had soil. You could grow an ash. All right, well now you're going to have to think about these things. So it's a great tree, not a lot of pests. And then we get down to the monotypics. Look at this. One species, almost no pests. So think of that next time you're looking at planting something. How many species are there in that genus? There's a lot. You know what? You probably got a lot of potential for fur problems. Now, there are exceptions, of course. There aren't a lot of species of robinia. But good luck growing it in South Dakota, because I don't care where you plant this cultivar, purple row, the locust borer is going to find it. And we also have American chestnut. Not a lot of species of chestnut, but they were wiped out. So now let's look at the other thing. What do these problems have in common? Well, let's start out with chestnut blight. Chestnut, you know, people say, we've never seen what happened with EAB. No, we have. We saw it with chestnut. Chestnut blight was one of the more common trees in North America. It was said that a squirrel could jump from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi just on chestnuts. Probably a stretch, but nevertheless, it was 1/4 of the basal area of the eastern deciduous forest. And with this one, we used to have vast forests of this, huge trees. I have a friend that still mines this wood out of barns in Maryland. It's that stable. But when this disease arrived at the turn of the last century, look at that. That's Long Island in 1912. That's how common chestnuts were. Well, of course, we didn't really experience that out here, but we did experience and are still experiencing it in Dutch elm disease. Right. Devastating disease that we deal with in South Dakota. Elm is still one of the most common trees on my campus, and every summer we take down elms. All right, and we used to go from this, remember elm line streets? And we cut them down, one by one, and when we took them down, we planted green ash. So we went from elm line streets to ash line streets, and now, of course, we have EAB. So what do those all have in common? Well, first of all, the pest became a deadly threat when it moved to a new continent. Right? EAB is not a problem in China, not on their native trees, for example. Chestnut blight's not a problem, not on their native trees. But these didn't become a threat until they jumped to a new continent. And the pest attacks a genus, not a species. Dutch elm disease is a problem on American elm only because we plant a lot of American elm. But you know what? Our rock elm, which we still have in this state, in South Dakota, slippery elm, we lost those as well, but we not. Emerald ash borer, does it just affect green ash? No, white ash, black ash, and that too. Our pest attack in general, why? Because once you figure out how to kill one tree, it's pretty easy to know how to kill another. They're all very similar. And each of these genera are found in all three temperate continents. Now, some of you remember this. He said it, he actually wrote it in 1995, but I still have it in my notes when we met in St. Cloud in 1987 for the Minnesota Arden Hills. All right, and we had Santa Mark come and speak. And he said this: no more than 10% of the species, 20% of the genus, and 30% of the family. And a lot of communities, I see that as the Bible with a small b. That's what we're going to have as a goal and objective. If we do that, we have diversity. It is not enough. This is the John Wall rule. No more than 5% of your trees in any one genus. Good luck on that one. That's a hard thing to get to. But if only 5% of the trees in your communities were ash trees, would you be worried about EAB? It'd be a concern, but it wouldn't be a big concern. If only 5% of your trees were elm, would you be concerned about Dutch elm disease? Probably not. So think of this as a goal. Maybe an unattainable goal, but the closer you get to this, the better. I mean, take a look at all this. Over-reliance on a few species, and we did this. Green ash, white ash, blue ash, black ash. And people said, we have a diverse urban forest. No, they're all ash. In fact, when you get to the root system, they're all green ash. There's almost no diversity in it. You know, people say, well, you know, white ash lives a little bit longer. Yeah, about 5 or 10 minutes. That's about it. You know, and it doesn't matter. And I don't worry about families. We have very few problems that jump families. Sure, we have verticillium wilt, and we have very few that cross genera. Fire blight does. But for the most part, I worry about threats within a particular genus. Now, by the way, following the 5% rule doesn't mean you're not going to have a problem. In fact, interesting enough, if you have a light population, low density, the problem can actually spread faster in some cases. So I'm not saying this meaning that if only 5% of your trees are ash, you may not have a problem with EAB. In fact, more than likely, you can find them wiped out even quicker. Excuse me, or slightly quicker, because they have to disperse. What it means is the economic impact is much less than what we're seeing. In South Dakota, we have some communities 50% ash. So more than 5%, and be particularly cautious with species-rich genera. And be particularly cautious if you're found in all 3 continents. So if I'm looking at a genus, and there's a lot of them, and they're found in all 3 continents, look out, something's coming. So why is that important to know? Well, here's the big thing. If there's evolutionary history, increased stress reduces resistance. We all knew that. With bronze birch board, if I keep a big birch healthy, guess what? I don't have as much of a problem. Why? They co-evolve. It can defend itself against the bronze birch board as long as the tree is healthy. If there's no evolutionary history, there's little relationship between stress and resistance. I don't care how healthy you keep the Asian birch trees or the Europe birch trees. They don't really have the defenses against bronze birch wood. And so they're fairly easily killed. And the same is true with ash, of course. Our white ash are easily killed, but you know what? The Asian ash are not, and guess what? They have in their phloem tissue oleochemicals, defenses, that are feeding inhibitors. So they have defenses, and you would expect that. When I go over to Asia, as I told Dan Herms, you know what? It reminds me of looking at birds in the UP of Michigan. The only place I was finding EAB was, of course, on trees that were declining naturally, trees that were stressed. Why? Their defenses are down. But look at our birch trees, or look at our ash trees. They don't really have the defenses. How can we improve something that's not really there? So I spent a lot of time over there taking a look at trees, and if you find it, up there in their forest are their ash trees. But you know what? Where do I find EAB being a problem? Here, in town. That's where you're going to find it, of course. Look at that poor tree. That was riddled with EAB. You got to love their staking job. I think that was the oldest tree there, otherwise it was going to leave. All right? You'd expect a tree to be stressed and being attacked there, wouldn't you? And of course, the other tree I see being attacked is their garden ash. Garden ash is Praxis americana. They tried to plant that over. And it's hammered by it. Why? It has no defenses. And look at that forest. I took that picture in northeastern China, where I work. Do you see much difference between this picture I took in northeastern China and this picture I took near Mankato? No. Forests are almost identical. That should scare the heck out of you. There's a lot of trees over there. Look at all these trees. And all those trees, guess what? Have a lot of pests. And all it's going to take is a couple more to come over here, and we're going to start losing something else. If anyone leaves here today and goes out and plants maples, you didn't hear me speak today. All right, that's my big concern. Yeah, I know you like maples, I like them too, but could we get rid of Freeman maples? We've kind of overdone it. I mean, you know, it all gets back to the fact, you take a look long enough ago, and everybody was connected. Ash were all combined. I mean, you had this huge thing, and then of course it drifted apart. And as they split apart, they all went their own way, but they now developed their own pests. So the problem with EAVs, when it came over here, it recognized our ash as ash. Our ash did not evolve with it, so it doesn't really have the defenses to protect it against it. So we used to be able to depend on barriers, mountain ranges, oceans, and that to do this, but not anymore. And take a look at this. There's chestnut. Do you see the setup? 3 distinct populations, each on different continents, developing their own pests and co-evolving with them to develop their own defense. And of course, what happened is we got those is the disease jumped in North America. Or take a look at this. That's not affected though, is it? Not the Chinese. Because why? Co-evolved. Or look at elm. 3 distinct populations. And of course, Dutch elm disease jumped all the way across. First of all, showed up in Europe, and then the North American has actually bounced back. But our Asian elms are not affected, or not as much. Some of them get the disease, but really not really cause a problem. And we plant those, a lot of the hybrids. And look at ash. You see the pattern here, people? 3 distinct populations with a lot of different species. And of course, what we had is, since it's all found there, we had this little insect jump. And you know, the interesting thing is that we're talking in the UK right now, we was talking about all their loss of ash. Not due to EAV, but a fungal disease that came in from Asia. No matter what happens, ash is gone. All we're going to need is that disease to come in, and that'll be the problem too for it. So it doesn't really affect these. And if you take a look, and I chose Mankato because it really hasn't been impacted by EAV, but take a look at Mankato. Look at their inventories, both for private and city. 3 Genera, that's really it. 3 ones, and they're depending on everything. Look at maples now. I love maples, except I'm getting tired of Freeman maples. It's going everywhere. It's become the new tree to plant. It's now the replacement for ash. I'll plant this everywhere. Going into subdivisions, what do? This is the only tree they plant. What? Fast growing, good fall color, so it's pretty. Don't plant it anymore. There's chestnut, there's elm, there's ash, there's maple. There's more species of maple in China than there are in the United States. Don't tell me there's one small insignificant insect in China doing what it's supposed to do, nature's recycling, finishing off the dye. That's not going to get over here. Does that mean I don't want to see any maples in our landscape? Of course not. I love maple. But we're making the mistake again. 20 years from now, someone's going to be standing up here talking about the icky-vicky maple bug. They came in from Bongo County. All right, we'll invite good King Leonardo. All right, and you know what's going to happen? Say, why did we plant all those maples? We've got to get rid of this idea. Yeah, I know we have the Asian longhorn beetle, but I worry more about something else. And look at oak, or lindens. I love lindens too. We plant silver lindens, but same thing. Don't be planting lots of lindens. And I really love oak. And I hate to say that, but let's not overplant oak either. Look at that. We've been having in South America. Something's going to happen. Now again, don't take me wrong. I'm not saying not to plant these trees at all, but I'm saying would you dampen it down just a bit? And I'm doing that just because of the economic impact in your communities if you have 30% of your trees in any one of these particular generators. All right, and take a look at this. Birch again, 62. And over in that forest, there's 4 different species of birch, and look at birch. Something's going to come over here and wipe out birch. You know the Chinese are nervous about bronze birch borer getting to China with all their vast birch forests. And here's a crazy thing. Look at that. You got to love this. I had to go to a cabinet manufacturer making cabinets out of birch. Birch is a good hardwood. Do you know it's cheaper to log birch in China than it is in northern Minnesota? So the cabinet manufacturer was getting the birch from China. And it was coming over. They were putting everything together. And they noticed, hey, sometimes when we're cutting these boards, we find an insect. Or we find half an insect. And after about 6 months, they said, hey, are we supposed to call that ball guy if we find something? Thanks. So they finally called me, and I came down and took a look at all this stuff. And, oh boy, there it is. You want to see a scarier picture? It turned out to be the old house boy. Look at that picture. You notice what's scary about that? You see where it's crossed the glue line? It's surviving in the kiln-dried finished wood. Cabinets that were going out had this insect in it still. You know, when you're thinking South Dakota, the stuff arrives from China directly to South Dakota. Think of that. Think of what's arriving here. And look at this, spruce. I love spruce. But look at the problems we're going to see with spruce. Or look at pine. I really like pine. But there's a forest of pine I took in China. Looks like the Black Hills of South Dakota. And here's the crazy thing with pine. We have turpentine beetle. We have it in Minnesota. We have it in South Dakota. It's an ankle biter. It doesn't kill trees. Just kind of chews a little bit. Oh yeah, that's turpentine beetle. Who cares? Yeah, we really see it as a problem more when we go out and do chipping. And you'll find these big pitch tubes at the bottom. But it's found across North America. Now it's on to China. We shipped it to China. One for our side. But here's where it's going to come back and bite us. It shows up in China. First outbreak was in 1990. Outbreak of turpentine beetles? Killing tens of millions of trees in China. You say, well, who cares? It all makes sense, John. It's attacking their native pine trees. They don't have defenses. That makes sense. I'd expect it to kill those. No, here's the problem. In North America, it doesn't really connect with the blue stain fungus. In China, it does. It combined and now carries one of theirs. And so I stood in China and watched it killing ponderosa pine, our native pine. So our native insect got over there, now can carry one of their native blue stain fungus, which kills our trees. You know what? Our concern is that fungus is far more damaging than found in North America. The problem we're going to have is we shipped it over there. If they ship it back with that fungus, we're going to have problems again. It's a crazy world out there how these things happen. Again, there's always problems. They should serve beer after this. So, reduce your reliance on crab apples, maples, lindens. You know, please stop planting crab apples. Please stop that. I hate crab apples. You know, I used to work in garden centers. Everybody came on Mom's Day and I'd buy a crab for Mom. And I said, what's that really say about Mom anyway? You know what? And I get it. They bloom in the spring and everybody likes that. But after that, they, you know, I get on that. But you know what? We need to reduce our reliance on these trees, among others, and start looking for more genera that have limited distribution and fewer species. You might say, well, wait a minute, John, are there those trees? Yeah. You bet. Now again, I'm going to show you some trees, and I'm going to go through the whole list. You're going to have some great talks this afternoon on things to plant. And I'm not going to say these trees grow everywhere, because guess what? I hate to tell you this, people, we're out of the easy ones. We're out of the ones that you can plant them anywhere. We no longer have the grow fast, grow anywhere, and look cute. Pick two. That's what you're going to do from now. You're going to pick two. And I think that's a good thing for everybody in this audience. You know what? You can no longer just say, here's a tree, go plant it. We're going to have to know about the soil. We're going to have to know about the site. We're going to have to know about the conditions. I like that. We're going to actually have to work at it. People are going to have to pay us for what we know, not just that we can dig a hole and put a tree in. So when I show you the trees, don't say, I don't like that tree. I don't like that tree. That's fine. It's the rules of opinion. You don't like a tree, that's fine. But nevertheless, here's some things you probably haven't thought of. Hop tree. How many people here plant hop tree? A couple of you. Good. And I mean just one. If I said, how many of you plant maple, and don't do that, I don't want to look. I'd probably see everything. If I said, how many used to plant ash trees, that would be everybody, including me. But how many plant this tree? And you know, I think you say, tree? You bet. That's up in North Dakota on their campus. You know what's interesting about this tree? And all our old shelter belt studies, our trials that were abandoned 20 years ago, there's two plants you can always find in those trials. I don't care where they are in South Dakota. You can still find common lilac, because that's as tough as nails, and I can find hop trees. I like the flower of hop trees. Smells like fresh cut alfalfa. It's kind of a pleasant fragrance. Yeah, admittedly, a couple do have an odor. But you know what? We can look at cultivars for that. There are cultivars for this, but there's not a lot out there. But here's a nice small tree we ought to consider. And do I lie awake at night thinking, oh my goodness, what might come over from China and attack these? No, because guess what? They're not native to China. This is North America only. We don't have to worry about pest control. It's a fairly unique genus. I'm not worried about something making the jump from one other genus to another. It could happen, but probably relatively rare. Is it a tree without problems? Of course not. But nevertheless, I'm not going to lie awake at night worried about what's coming over. Hop hornbeam. Yes, of course, limited, but it's native here. Does quite nicely. It's another tree we got to be very careful on site, I will say. It's not a very tough street tree. And it's a small tree, admittedly, but fairly limited distribution. Okay, so again, not one that I really worry about. A tree we ought to be using more often. And of course, one we do use, which I'm thrilled to see that, is Kentucky coffee tree. It's one of my favorite trees. I love that tree. It's a gorgeous tree. Good luck selling it in a garden center. Well, does it grow fast? No, and I even tell people this. Next year you're going to call me because it's shorter than last year. This tree seems to kind of die back. Your planet says, oh crap, I'm here. It's not Kentucky. I'll sit here. And it dies back on you. And if you notice, it does that for about 2 or 3 or 4 years. And then one year you come out and go, holy crap, it's like a teenager. Suddenly it grows. We've got plantings in South Dakota State that are 30 years old now. That coffee tree and ash trees you plant at the same time, now they're the same height. This one is a tree that starts growing faster with age. I love this tree. And yes, I know a lot of you don't like the pod. I like the pod. It adds to winter interest. Gives something for the kids to sweep up in the spring. You know what? You can't make coffee out of it. I don't know if anyone here has tried that. I'd rather lick this floor than drink that coffee. You know, if anyone here is like we are, it's your turn to make coffee for church. 1 year you make coffee out of this, they'll never ask you. Yes, but it can kill a dog. Unfortunately, it will not kill a cat. That would be a plus. But you know what? If you just don't like the pods, if you say, you know what, I want to be sexist, go ahead and plant it. But I'll tell you, one concern I have, the most sexist part of our world is the urban forest. We seem to just like guys. And to me, I don't see a problem with having some fruit out there. But look at coffee tree. Yeah, there are a couple species. They're down in Laos, Vietnam, southern China. Not a lot, and actually more subtropical. If you take a look at them, I love this one. The Chinese coffee tree. If you translate the name, it's soap tree. They make soap out of theirs. We try to make coffee out of ours. That explains why the coffee we make tastes like soap. All right, so you may want to stick away from it. But, you know, think of that. How many here really see serious pest problems on that tree? No. Do we have problems? Of course. Is it tight? We have to be careful on site? Yes. Does it grow fast? No. But it's a pretty unique tree, and it is one I'm pleased to see we're using more of. But look at hop tree or some of these others. We're not. Or, how many plant this? Start. All right, now here's the good thing. I love shagbark hickory. We are planting it on our campus. It's a great tree. Anybody here that's a city forester and over 35, plant this tree in your community. Why? Because it takes them about 30 years to produce nuts. By the time it's dropping nuts on the streets and sidewalks, you'll have retired. It's the next person's problem. All right? So and you add it to the diversity. Now you can write letters to the paper saying, why aren't they cleaning up those trees? I get that. But, you know, I get it. Yeah, we're not going to put this as a street tree in many cases. I don't know about your communities. We get people complaining about acorns off oak trees. Well, I can trip over them, then don't kill them. But you know what? Can we accept a little bit of problems? Do we have to have every tree that doesn't produce fruit? Do we have to have every tree that grows fast? No. This is a great tree. And you know the nice thing about this tree? It wants to grow straight and tall. It does not want to grow sideways. You look at these trees, they tend to look like power. It's a wonderful tree, and we ought to be using it more often. And in the spring, when it's breaking bud, it is drop dead gorgeous as it's open. And look at its range. Do I lie awake at night worried about this? Not at all. There's very few species. You know, depending if you're a hopper splitter, we're talking about somewhere in the teens. Good. Not a lot of problems there. You all know the famous one, pecan, which we can grow in South Dakota. They even have a couple up in North Dakota. All right? And fairly limited distribution. I'm not going to lie awake at night planting this. And if you got 5% of your trees as hickories, I'd be thrilled to death. On campus, we planted bitternut hickory. We planted shagbark hickory. They're great additions to the landscape. And if you're one of these people who says, I like to plant native trees, knock yourself out. They're native trees to the state. They do add to our landscape. I like to see these trees used. Which does bring me to this. Native trees are no defense against exotic plants. What did I already tell you? Remember, the problem we have with EAB is that insect arrived over here. It recognized our ash as ash. They produce the same volatils. Hey, look at that, that's an ash tree. Our ash trees did not go evolve with it. They don't have defenses. You might say, how come they don't have defenses? Defenses are expensive for trees. You are not going to produce defenses you can't use. It makes no sense. They take a lot of the food you manufacture. You're only going to develop defenses that you need. And our ash can't suddenly say, oh yeah, there's a new problem. I better develop a defense today. All right, so that isn't going to happen. And I know a lot of people say, well, I like native trees. I like native trees too. But when I see people, you know, my favorite was I read it in the Minneapolis Star Tribune, which we read out in South Dakota. One of the groups here, you know what, if we planted more native trees, we wouldn't have a problem with this little bug. The emerald ash borer. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you will. All right, so why I'm a fan of them, you know what, they're no threat, no exception. You plant the European or Asian birch, guess what, they get hammered by our native bronze birch. Again, if there's no evolutionary history, there's little relationship between defenses or between stress and resistance. So, why do I say this? We need to look a little beyond the box. Yes, I've mentioned native trees here, and one reason I mentioned them was why? Look, there's very few or no associates overseas, very little in Asia. All right, well, what if we got trees from Asia? I love Mackie. It's a great tree. It's only native to Asia. There's 2 species, pretty limited, right? 2 species, that's good. Found on one continent, that's better. We have them here. I love this tree. You know, it's been planted out here for more than 100 years and never has caught on. You know why it hasn't caught on? You know when it flowers? Flowers at the end of July. When I become king, so we can ignore these messy elections, I'm going to decree that you cannot have garden centers open in the spring. They can only be open in the summer and in the fall. You know what? That would get a whole bunch of new plants out there. Nobody comes in a garden center in July. You should have canned through the garden center at the end of July, and you're not going to hit anything. Right? But everybody comes in the spring, and if you ever watch it, honestly, on a Saturday morning in the spring, in May, when people had their little carts and were coming through the garden center, it looked like the Rose Bowl parade. Everything they're buying is in bloom. All right? And so we go for all those early blooming plants, but look at this tree. It's a good tree, has very few pest problems, and I even like it in the spring when it's leafing out. It has kind of a silvery appearance. It's a good small tree in the landscape, but you know what? We've been planting it here forever. I wrote an article for when Minnesota horticulturists back in the 80s and said we ought to be planting more of this tree. But again, it's one that has never caught on, mostly because of the time period of when it blooms. And when it does bloom, it is spectacular. That's when I get the calls. What's that tree in bloom? Because we don't see it much. And I'm not going to lie awake at it. Worried about what's going to come over from Asia and attack these, because guess what? It's from Asia. I'm not worried. And what about some others? Alder. How much alder do you plant out there? You know, we've got a couple of species that we can use, and again, I'll be a little cautious with these. But nevertheless, I like this tree. You know what you say, but is it pretty? I wouldn't give it that. It doesn't really have a fall color to it. It's a small green tree out there. But I find it has attractive bark, and it adds to the diversity of the landscape. It's a nice tree. But my caution is take a look at all of them. I say we ought to plant it more because it's underrepresented in the urban forest. but nevertheless it is found on 3 major continents. And guess what? We have species over there for all, so caution. Another one I like to see more of, Turkish filbert. Anyone here plant that? Turkish filbert? It's a nice tree. Drive down to the Arboretum down in Waseca, the Hodgson Arboretum, you'll find 3 there you can barely get your arms around. They're old and huge. It's a really interesting tree. I took that picture in North Dakota, Nebraska. But I kind of like the form when it's young, that nice pyramidal form to it. Also, I like the bark. There's the pictures down in at the Hodgson Arboretum. You know, kind of that nice mottled bark to it. But how much Cordyceps do you have planted out in your landscapes? You know, it's another genus that's underrepresented. If we had more of this in there, you know, something's got to replace a lot of those other trees. This is a good choice. Now, again, no fall color to it, but a beautiful tree. However, one of the things that I had commented on, and I put it in my book, was this. Trees, like spouses and politicians, should not be selected based solely on a single characteristic. You know what? You really got to take a look. Don't just go for I want fast growth, but I just want this. You really got to think around these things. So, let's go through it. Diversity does not always mean stability. Just because you plant a lot of different genera in itself doesn't mean you've got a stable landscape. There's my caution. You know what? Planting a wide range of trees that are not well adapted to the site is counterproductive. Just don't go out there and plant genera just because I said plant more genera if they're not adapted to the site that you have. I mean, I'm going to go back to my favorite. Sarcasm. Freeman maple. There's a Freeman maple doing what it's supposed to do. Look at that tree. 35 feet in 10 years. That's planted in Arborcore Gardens, probably the best soil you've ever seen. It's watered almost daily. It's baby. People talk to it. When it has its fall color the 3rd week of September, I've actually seen people drive to our botanic garden, get out of their car, take a picture of this tree, get back into their car, and leave. It's gorgeous. Well, we planted that tree. But I had some extra. So I said, well, where are we going to plant these? Since I'm not a big fan of it, I planted it over by the stadium. Okay, so now we have trees planted at the same time and over by the stadium. If you're over by the stadium, you're planted on soil that's compact. You can land jets on that soil. All right, there's no organic. The only water they get is an occasional spilled beer. All right, after a game. All right, and I thought, how to get a picture of those trees. So look at that, 35 feet in 10 years. What do you think their counterparts on very close sites will be? There you go. 5 feet in 10 years. It's shorter than when we planted. That's a struggling tree. Take a green ash, it'd been fine there. Knock yourself out. It'll grow. So we got to be kind of careful on this. There's little logic in planting less vigorous alternate species as assurance against pesticide. Right? It's something we phrase along. You've got to be careful what you're planting. Just don't plant a lot of genera. And the other thing is, how about street tree diversity? Does it matter if I do it by street, by block, by neighborhood? Not so much. It really doesn't matter in that regards. But, you know what, I kind of agree with this, and this is an opinion. I like streets of a single species. Call me crazy, but I like that appearance. I like that uniformity. That you go out there and look at all of a species. And I say that only because that's what I like, not that it's very problem. If you want to mix it up, go right ahead, and it certainly simplifies it from a management standpoint. But in terms of diversity, don't worry about if you're doing it by the block, by the neighborhood, or what. Because again, I'm looking for diversity for the big reason is to reduce the economic impact. So a little difference, but again, it might reduce your maintenance if it's done by the street. Excuse me. Why nothing's native, though, to the community forest. I do say let's not forget about the sense of place. Use native plants. But how do you define a native plant? I look at it rather broadly. Native to earth. You bet. I'm going to use only plants native to earth in my landscapes. None of those Martian plants, not using them at all. All right? I'll stick with my planet at least. You know, you say there's no relationship between Mars and Earth anyway. I mean, that's what Mars looks like. That's what Earth looks like. Maybe there is some combination between the two. They look an awful lot alike. But you know, when people say native, I say, well, define what native is. You know, I'm staying with the planet people. I'm good on that one. Well, no, that it's native here. Define here. I mean, how many of you remember this? Do you all remember when the glaciers finally retreated about 20,000 years ago? My students swear I remember that. Oh yeah, it was great. We could park more on campus. You know, it was a lot. They finally all kind of went away on that. It was good. But, you know, the interesting thing is what's native to Minnesota now wasn't native to Minnesota 5,000 years ago. Plants have moved. They all went south during the ice age, kind of like my students did last week. All right? And they've been working their way back. I mean, there's white pine, 16,000 years ago, was way down there where my students were. And then it's gradually moved up, and it's actually starting to move back down again. All right, so, okay, defining native as today. So if it was in this area 10,000 years ago, or maybe between the ice ages, that doesn't count. I mean, you see the issue with native? It kind of gets kind of murky. Bur oak is one of my favorites. Bur oak kind of shot out of a cannon. It moved up so fast, mostly based upon movement by birds. And take coffee tree. Where's coffee tree native to Minnesota? You ever looked at it? Isolated populations near water. In South Dakota, the same thing. There's a couple of these isolated populations. And there's been work done on that and said, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's near where there were Native American communities. And it really looks like they care for it. So is coffee tree native to South Dakota, but it was brought by people? You know, so to me, defining native is kind of a interesting slope, but our next speaker will probably speak on that quite more. Plus, as I say, nothing's native to the urban forest. I mean, look at that poor tree there. It's isolated from other trees. Trees do best in the company of other trees. They actually share resources among each other. You take that tree and plant it out by itself, it's like chaining that dog out. It goes a little crazy. Think of that. All your urban trees out there are a little wacko. All right, why? Because they're growing by themselves. What did they evolve? They evolved in a forest, not your front yard. All right? They're surrounded by turf grass and a highly modified soil. People say, you know what, I want to plant a native tree. There's nothing native to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. There's nothing native to the Twin Cities. Show me a tree that evolved in this concrete area. All right, so again, I'm okay planting trees from other places on the planet. However, having said that, I will also say I'm not a big fan of the McDonaldization of the landscape. All right, I took that picture, I have no idea where, but one of the things that I do, and I know you might say, oh, geez, is I used to, until Rex got me convinced not to do this anymore, but I used to eat at McDonald's of every country I was in. If they had a McDonald's, I stopped there to eat just once. And there's a little bit of difference, but not a lot, surprising. All right, well, think of landscapes. How many have gone to other places? Go to a conference center. Anywhere in North America, they have the same trees. I mean, I really want the Twin Cities to look different than Sioux Falls. It is different. I love the oaks out in South Dakota and western Minnesota. They add to the landscape. They provide that sense of place. So yes, I would like to keep some of the uniqueness, but again, let's reduce the numbers. And obviously, too, one of the other big things, let's not create problems by planting invasive species. I'm a big fan going over to China, Europe, to bring back climate change. But you know we can have problems doing that. Look at that one, cork tree. Now, out east, of course, they have problems with Norway maple, right, invading their woodlands. South Dakota, that's not a big issue. Our winters take care of Norway maple. All right, but cork tree, you know what was interesting? In McCory Gardens, we have a back where it's kind of woody. You know what I'm finding coming up here? The first time I went out there and looked, I said, look at all these little walnuts coming up. Went up closer, I go, wait a minute, these are cork trees. Cork trees are invading some areas of South Dakota. So again, I'm not looking at creating problems by bringing in exotic plants. We do need to be cautious on that. It's a great tree, fairly limited as to where it's found. We're not going to see a lot of pest problems, but I don't want to plant a plant that can become a pest. Or my favorite, of course, is this. We need to get in that way back time machine, find the person that introduced us from Europe and kill them. Because that, and here's my favorite picture. Look at that. That's in Leeds, South Dakota. Next time you go gambling over there, take a look at this tree. They string Christmas lights on. You know why I got called to come out and look at that tree in their city park? Because They said, every year produces fruit, but this crabapple never blooms. Crabapple. That's a buckthorn. All right, we all know that plant. You don't want to be eating the fruit. You don't want to get anywhere near the fruit. Rhamnus cathartica. You know, eating 20 ripe berries, it's not a case of, oh my goodness, I think I'm going to poop. It's, oh my goodness, I pooped. At course ecology class, I took my students out in the woods in the early fall, and one of the students goes, oh look, choke cherries. Not choke cherries. Don't eat them. Especially when we've got a long bus ride back. So I had two students do what? No, they're not that stupid. They eat berries. They collected berries on Friday. That Saturday morning made blueberry pancakes. I got to meet the roommate. Apparently got through almost one pancake, didn't feel so good. Started standing up, and that's as far as he got. Don't eat and suck. So maybe it's best to use, you know, our seedless plants for those. But as we're finishing up here, a couple of things. You know, what I'm really talking about today is resilience. And what do we mean by resilience? The capability to spring back. That, you know, when we get a threat like EAB, that your community isn't devastated, that you're not sitting there saying, how are we going to treat all these trees? How are we going to remove these trees? Some of these small communities west of here, I mean, 30, 40, 50% of the trees are out. That's going to be devastating. You don't spring back very quickly. So if you look at, you know what, how can we make sure our communities are resilient against exotic threats? Well, the way I look at it, you have pretty low resiliency if one genus is more than 20% of your tree population, or you have two genera more than 10%. Think of that. Think of all the communities we have that I would say have low resiliency. They're not going to bounce back. You know how many communities we have, the two major trees that they have out there are elm and ash? It's not a resilient community. They've got everything in two genera with major threats. Medium. One genus, but more than 10% still. And what I really like to see, no genus more than 5%. Now that's a tough thing to count. But if you go through and look at your communities, not look at the 10, 20, 30, but kind of look at this and say, how resilient are they going to be to any more exotic threats? It's not the last. EAB is just one, the continual thing that we're going to see coming over. International trade's not going to go away. It's going to happen. Now, you might say, well, how am I even going to find that? Hopefully you all got Snyder's book. It's still a classic. But I went through Snyder's book last night. He has 51 different genera of trees in this book for Minnesota. You know, the book that I have has 64. Don't tell me you can't find more genera, which is the most common thing afterwards. Well, I can't find any more. No, you have to work at it. It's not easy. There are nurseries that carry stuff, there's nurseries that will contract grow stuff, but you know what? We've got to start working on this really hard. Don't just say, well, you know what, I can't find it. Just because you go to one landscaper or one nursery and say, we don't carry it. Fine, find it. Do your job. Get that diversity out there. Try to avoid the next problem. How many plant this? I thought we ought to plant it in every cabin. You know, wingnut not sounds good to politicians, but you know what? How many plant this one? Now again, if you're in Duluth, forget it. It ain't going to happen. If you're down in Albert Lee, you might be able to get away with it. We grow them in South Dakota, just about as far out as Brookings, Highway 14. But I just put this up here not that, oh, okay, I want to plant this tree, but it is a pretty cool genus. It has this kind of interesting fruit hanging down. But I only put it up here to point out, here's a tree I'll bet most of you don't even know. And I will say many of you won't even be able to plant. But you got to start thinking outside of the box. And to finish, look at that. This was the latest this last summer. You talk about threats coming. Lounging logs. Do you realize that someone brought a lounging log and there was a beetle in it? Now what I find fascinating, these are lounging logs made out of natural pine from China. Apparently we don't have small logs in North America, so we have to go to China to collect these things. and put them together as a lounging log for our pet guinea pigs. I had to go down to PetSmart to buy some of these so I could check them in South Dakota. And believe me, that was embarrassing. Hope nobody sees me here buying guinea pig stuff. And stripped them back, and guess what? First thing you notice, none of them are pine. All right. Second thing, it's all exotic carpets. And none of them that I found had any pores in it, but some of the other states they did. And what I found fascinating in our call, they said, well, we've got 2 ships coming that we're turning around. Hello, we've got ships of lounging logs coming in for our guinea pigs in North America. And while I was there, I was horrified to know, too, that you can actually buy bundles of willow sticks for your guinea pig. You buy bundles from China? Hello, people, could we go out in our woods and collect our own little debris? Now, the other thing that I found fascinating about this is since it's a food source, the FDA has to regulate this, not us. So when you sit here and say, well, you know what, how did these new pests come in? Lounging logs. It's amazing. So, I wrote all this up in this little article here, the 5% rule, the January issue of American Nourishment, which is up online if you want to get more information about it. Do keep in mind, I look at that as a goal, not an absolute. But the closer you are to that, the less you need to worry about future exotic threats. And I end with this statement, why care for trees? It's one of my favorites. I know a lot of you have read this book too. Shago used to talk about this book, but I love it. Because we often talk about, the most important time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the next best time is now. No, don't plant a tree at all if you don't know why you're planting it and it grows in that something. I like this as our phrase better. People have forgotten this truth, the Bible says. You mustn't forget it. You become responsible forever for what you have taken. That's a responsibility of the urban forest, isn't it? We drag things kicking and screaming in the urban forest and put them in a natural environment. We owe them something. We owe them protection, do we not? Let's not go out there and plant a lot of one. Because essentially what we have is set up a buffet. So let's try to avoid this sort of thing in the future. And we'll all have nice urban forests. I'm really excited to hear our next talk, which is going to hit hard a little bit more on this native thing. So I thank you very much for your attention here this morning. I'll be around during break afterwards for questions, but thanks again for allowing me to speak to you.